The story of Fievel brings up some good old nostalgia. During this young mouse's trials, trying to reunite with his family as they sought out a better life, he met many along the way. But who had the best of intentions and who was just looking to use Fievel as a worker or as a meal? Hey everybody, this is Brad with WickedBinge, and this is an American tale, and an American tale, Fievel goes west, good to evil.
I'm building a giant mousetrap.
As usual, we'll begin with the most pure and work our way down to the most villainous. These characters are the good. Starting off our list, we have Mama and Papa Mousekewitz. They have the idea to leave Russia and start over in America, hoping to create a better life for their children. Now, the father of the family was quick to assume that there were no issues with cats in America, but it's easy to see why they wanted to believe it. The mother was more level-headed, quick to scoff at ideas too good to believe.
You're talking nonsense.
They both cared for the well-being of their young ones, celebrating when Fievel turned up alive at the end of the first film. Coming in second, we have Tanya, Fievel's older sister. Tanya is the only one in the first film to believe that Fievel was still alive, somewhere out there, and the one to demand they confront Tony when he was seeking out his friend Philly, and also the one to celebrate being reunited with him in the second movie, with everyone else being more preoccupied making the western town livable.
Oh, Fievel, what happened to you?
She did become too preoccupied in being seen as a star and being able to sing on stage, but she did find a way to use her stage presence to get her family and the other mice out of harm's way, warning them of the giant mousetrap. Our next ranking goes to Fievel himself. Obviously, he's the main character of the story, being the one to be separated from his family and the one to help defeat the cats in both features. He's naive, which makes him easy to be taken advantage of.
What?
What about my family?
You don't need a family, kid.
There are numerous times when he's almost in reach of his family, only to be led away again. He was tossed into a sweatshop where he met Tony, was swept up in the rally with the cats, initially tricked by Warren, and put a lot of blind faith into Wiley, despite the mutt being reluctant to fight. He did still manage to help save a lot of his fellow mice, but due to biting off more than he could chew, he was often the focus of being hunted or victimized.
I can't get out of here, and I have to.
Tiger was a loyal friend to Fievel upon their meeting. The song duo perfectly captured how the two saw one another and showed that a cat and mouse could overcome their differences and be friends.
I'm a vegetarian. That's right.
Fievel was heartbroken when he thought he couldn't at least say goodbye to Tiger when heading out west with his family, and we don't blame him. Tiger wasn't just a great friend to the Mousekewitz family, but a good partner to Miss Kitty. While she wished he was braver, he was sweet and cared for her, never using her for her success and never showing jealousy over whoever admired her. He dropped everything to follow his loved ones out of New York. While initially reluctant, he accepted Wiley's training to become sheriff and saved the mice from a gruesome fate. Next, we have Miss Kitty, who's Tiger's love interest in the second film. She's also the one to teach Tanya how to be a performer. She's a determined feline trying to make a name for herself in a new place. While she did express regret over leaving Tiger behind, she was good at putting on a brave face and encouraging Tanya to do the same.
Show me some grit and guts. Come on, honey.
One of the few people willing to talk back to Kadar Wall and criticize some of his ideas, she was used as leverage in the final standoff. But that doesn't mean she's a typical damsel in distress. Miss Kitty has said herself she was more than willing to break out her claws when pushed too far. We were glad to see she got her happy ending. Moving on to Bridget. Outspoken and passionate, she was one of the few mice in the first film that openly spoke out against being victimized by the local cats.
Are you going to let those cats push you around?
She helped to rally the neighborhood together and supported Fievel's idea to use a giant mouse to take them out. She was a love interest to Tony, which affected how well of an activist she was. The young mouse often distracted by the disheveled young man, but she clearly cared for others, showing immediate concern when Fievel was missing. Tony's next. As stated before, he quickly falls for Bridget, becoming distracted from aiding Fievel to help her with the rally. That doesn't make him a bad kid though. Tony falls under the streetwise kid of New York trope with a heavy accent and jaded attitude.
You look like something the cat dragged in, you know?
To be fair, he was basically imprisoned in a sweatshop with a bunch of other kids before he met a young Fievel. He did think he was being helpful, telling Fievel to move on and that his family was likely doing the same, but was also quick to try and bring the family together after running into Tanya and Papa. he was distracted by young love, but ultimately did come through for his new friend.
I don't hear no one thanking me here.
A shame he doesn't show up again in the second film to gain more development. Henry the Pigeon is next. Spending most of his time on the new Statue of Liberty, he was the one to first find the young Fievel when the mouse washed up. He was there to offer hope when the young boy was about to give up.
So young and you have lost hope?
Freshening up the kid with a bath and sending Fievel on his way with an uplifting song, he made an impression on the audience. It's because of his appearance that the film is given a hopeful tone, letting the audience and Fievel know not to give up. He believes America to be a land of opportunity and second chances, but only if you go after it and make it happen. It's a message that ages well, no matter how many times you see the first movie. While we don't see him long, his song of never giving up will always get stuck in your head. Next is the heroic mupp Wiley Burke. Once a hero of the West, he was not eager to step in when Fievel begged for help. He was quick to claim he was too old to fight, but was willing to train someone new to take his place.
Gotta find me a dog. I'll teach him the stuff.
Luckily, he did end up having a hand in the conflict at the end of the second film, fighting alongside Tiger instead of sending the cat out on his own. The fact that he went along with training a cat was a pretty humorous touch with how dogs and cats interact in these movies. He showed to have potential as a hero in the end, with age giving him wisdom rather than stripping him of his integrity. His final words on screen were memorable, with him telling Fievel and those watching at home that they can be the hero they need in the world.
You'll find that you're the hero you've been looking for.
With that said, we've wrapped up the good characters and move into neutral territory. This is the gray area. First, we'll briefly mention the native tribe in the second film. This little bit didn't exactly age well. At the time of the film being released, it was seen as comedic and acceptable, but nowadays it's pretty distasteful. But as far as their actions go, we have to give them a lower ranking. Surviving in the desert can't be easy, and with being mice, they likely had the mindset to take out Tiger before he took them out. But forcing Tiger to either accept being worshipped or being eaten?
Innkeeper, more wine!
That's a pretty drastic situation to place someone in. Honest John was an aide to Gussie in the first movie, but not the best one. Most of the time we see him, he's intoxicated, objectifying Gussie, and writing down the names of the dead to use as ghost votes.
So young, never had a chance to vote.
He does eventually help get rid of the cats, going along with the plan, but that was likely more for his own survival than it was for the betterment of the community he was meant to serve. He didn't try to use children the way others did, and wasn't a malicious man, but he did have the mindset to help himself before others. Next is Gussie Mouseheimer. One of the richest mice in New York, she's well known for her odd way of speaking and her arrogant attitude.
We must have a Wowie.
A wowie.
She claimed she did all she could to help those less fortunate than herself, but she also made a point to state that everyone was less fortunate than her. She was the one to band the more powerful members of their community together, such as Honest John. She gets major props for openly telling off the cats, standing proudly with her fellow mice, and tossing things in anger at the creatures that live to hunt her and others like her.
You will never get another cent from any mouse.
She was open to Fievel's idea and was the one to ultimately make the giant mouse happen. Finally, we've arrived at the dark side. These characters are the bad and the evil. We'll mention the bar cats first. Going along with Cat Arwal's plan, they were eager to kill off the mice, helping to rebuild the town. However, they do get a higher ranking than the cats from Russia or New York. They were willing to put hunting off to see through with Wall's plan, and warmed up to Tanya's performance when she proved to be a talent. In fact, they helped to perform the most memorable song in the second film. There is some speculation as to why they enjoyed seeing Tanya perform so much, but we won't open that can of worms and leave the speculation to other parts of the internet. Mo was a briefly used character in the first movie. Owner of the sweatshop, he made a living using any kids left abandoned or straying too far from home. He treated all the kids like prisoners, only interested in using them for labor to make life easier for himself.
You're mine! Now get to work!
He also was in on the act of Warren T. Rat, having no issue with the cat in charge, so long as he was able to succeed. Digit didn't have much of a presence. He was a cockroach and a right hand to Warren T. Rat, because what other creature could be a right hand to that creepy character? He's given some leniency due to a few factors. 1, he didn't hunt mice himself. 2, he was frequently mistreated by Warren, with the cat not caring for Digit's health.
Good. Fire hear me. I'm fed up with that filthy smoke.
It implied that he was just trying to make the best of a bad situation, but he also loses a lot of points since he seemed to be unfazed and sometimes joyful to see others suffer. Digit is one of those weird characters that could have been redeemed, but was at peace with others being used, so as long he could have a somewhat comfortable life.
You know, Mo can always use an extra kid at 50 cents a day.
Warren T. Rat, leader of the New York Cats, is next. He was a smarmy villain, enjoying not only having a hunting ground, but being able to take advantage of the businesses in the area. He had a way of manipulating others that was pretty terrifying.
Get me that mouse!
He was defeated in the end, but he caused a lot of damage. Not only did he ruthlessly hunt the mice trying to live in a merciless city, but he was the one to toss Fievel into Mo's sweatshop, happy to see kids used for labor. Impatient, crude, and underhanded, he was one musical number away from being a truly notable villain. Next is Chula, the spider in the second film. One of the closer sidekicks to Wall, he was seen as being pretty unstable. He thrived on being able to intimidate the mice around him, paying special attention to Fievel through the film. He had no issue holding the young mouse over a flame to torment him, or make it seem like Fievel fell off the train on his own after the kid overheard their plans. His crooked teeth, creepy smile, and weird fondness for nursery rhymes while hunting young mice is something that no doubt frightened a lot of children growing up with this movie. It seems worth mentioning to bring up Cats of Russia. They were the ones terrorizing the mice in the first film, leading to the Mousewitz family and others heading to America. There's nothing positive about these evil felines. They're shown killing without any remorse. They took delight in filling the mice with fear in their last moments, and were so terrifying that Fievel's family took the chance to move to an entirely different country to escape them. Like, they didn't manipulate their victims, just opting to kill outright. But that isn't much of a saving grace. Earning the spot of most wicked, we're gonna place Cat R. Wall. Wall is the villain in the second film, and he encouraged the mice to travel west for a new life, making promises of cats and mice living in harmony.
Will you help me build this world?
His interest is exploiting mice desperate for a new life, making them build up his vision of a successful western town before devouring the laborers. He shows some mercy to Tanya, deciding her talent made her worthy of being spared and used as entertainment, but that doesn't exactly redeem him. He was perfectly fine with letting Tanya sing while he set up the giant mousetrap that would have led her to having to witness the murder of all of her friends and family before being stuck working for the cat that did it. And that is downright vile.
Freeze, you miserable vermin!
The fact that he becomes someone else's pampered toy in the end is pretty satisfying. But what do you think? Who are the most good and evil characters in American Tail? Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and binge our Good to Evil playlist, where we break down the morality of the characters from your favorite cartoons, shows, and movies. But most importantly, stay wicked.